Hello and welcome back. Today, we're unpacking a highly structured, scalable, educational investment opportunity that is literally turning heads in the business world right now. We're looking at NIMTT's FOCO model. Look, if you've ever wanted to break into the booming education sector, but you just felt completely overwhelmed by the idea of actually running a school day-to-day, well, you're absolutely going to want to pay close attention to this explainer.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's the ultimate entrepreneurial dream, isn't it? What if you could own a highly profitable educational institute without actually running the thing? Because usually, getting into the education business means dealing with faculty no-shows, endless administrative red tape, managing marketing budgets, just daily operational headaches. But the model we're exploring today flips that entirely on its head. It promises a totally operationally hands-off business for the investor. So let's look at how they actually pull this off.
Right. So the secret sauce here is the FOCO model, which stands for franchisee-owned, company-operated. Now, in a traditional franchise, you buy the name and then, well, you do all the heavy lifting. But here, it's a strategic joint venture. You, as the partner, provide the initial capital investment and the physical space. That's it. In return, NIMTT, the brand, takes over the actual management. They handle the daily operations, they build out the infrastructure, and crucially, they manage all the legalities. So this basically allows you to benefit from a proven business framework and comprehensive brand support without having to be an expert in education management yourself.
To really grasp the beauty of this, let's just compare the responsibilities side by side. Your duties as the partner are incredibly straightforward: capital investment, space, and rent. You're essentially acting as the financial and real estate backer. Meanwhile, the brand takes on the actual heavy lifting. I'm talking about handling human resources, navigating those complex educational legalities, managing classes and faculty, and, get this, even bearing the advertising expenses. The absolute key takeaway here is that your asset is truly brand managed.
This brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. The grant's commitment goes way beyond just handing you an operations manual and wishing you luck. They provide a literal turnkey physical setup. They execute the full interior design. They install a 10-machine computer lab complete with high-configuration machines and webcams, and they fully furnish 2 complete classrooms. They handle all the fixtures and furniture, and they even put up the center signboard. They're essentially handing you a fully operational physical setup funded from their end, which massively reduces the friction of getting your business off the ground.
Of course, at the end of the day, an investment is only as good as its returns, right? Well, the profit-sharing model here is refreshingly straightforward. After a standard B2B fee to the brand, the net profit is split right down the middle, 50% to you, the partner, and 50% to the brand. And this equitable 50-50 split is fantastic because it perfectly aligns the financial incentives of everyone involved. The brand only makes significant money if your specific center is highly profitable, so you better believe they are deeply motivated to drive admissions and keep operations running seamlessly.
Section 1. Scaling your returns. Analyzing investment plan A versus plan B.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how clear-cut the progressive scaling is between the 2 tiers. Plan A requires a 15-lakh investment and a smaller footprint, about 600 to 1,000 square feet, which gets you all the core infrastructure. Plan B, on the other hand, steps things up. For a 20-lakh investment and a larger space, around 1,200 to 2,000 square feet, you get the core infrastructure plus dedicated fashion and beauty labs. So it's a slightly larger upfront commitment, but it gives you a significantly expanded business footprint. Let's start by breaking down Plan A, the 15-lakh baseline framework. Just to give you a realistic sense of the returns, the source data provides projections based on the first 6 months of operation. And I really want to highlight something absolutely crucial here. These projections, they are highly conservative. They're based on just 2 student categories, even though NIMTT actually offers over 100 different categories. So, based on those highly conservative estimates of just 2 student categories, your projected net profit for the first 6 months under Plan A is 2,079,000 rupees. And remember, this is your 50% share of the net profit after the 40% operating expenses have already been deducted from the total revenue. It is a very solid start for an operation where you literally aren't doing the daily management.
But look, what if things start slowly? Any smart investor wants to know their downside risk, right? Well, this is where the Plan A agreement security comes into play. The brand is built in a massive financial safety net. The agreement actually does not cease until they have returned 1.2 times your initial investment. On top of that, you retain extra benefits like the infrastructure for the rest of the 5-year brand agreement, and renewal is entirely possible based on board terms. This completely changes the risk profile of the entire investment. Let's move to
And see how this builds when we introduce the high-yield scale of Plan B. This is the 20-lock framework. For an additional 5-lock rupees and a slightly larger physical space, the dynamics of the whole business change quite dramatically.
And the reason those dynamics change so much is because of these exclusive additions. With Plan B, you aren't just getting basic computer labs. You're getting a fashion design lab and a beauty therapy and makeup lab. And notice those two very, very important words: brand funded. These are highly specialized, expensive physical installations, and the brand is paying to put them right into your space. You also get additional furnished classrooms to handle the increased student load.
So why do those specialized labs matter so much? Just take a look at this revenue breakdown for Plan B's first 6 months. The standard university courses bring in a totally respectable 9,030,000 rupees in total revenue. But the autonomous fashion and beauty courses, they bring in a staggering 61,050,000 rupees. That is more than 6 times the university revenue. It completely transforms your center's earning potential because these autonomous UGC-certified courses in fashion and beauty are high-ticket, high-demand skills.
And that incredible revenue jump brings us to this number: 21,240,000 rupees. At over 21 lakh, that figure really speaks for itself. That is the projected 6-month net profit specifically for the partner under Plan B. Think about that. By increasing your initial investment from 15 lakh to 20 lakh and providing a larger space, your projected 6-month profit jumps from just under 3 lakh to over 21 lakh. It's just a phenomenal demonstration of how scaling your infrastructure allows the brand to maximize its high-yield courses. As we wrap up, I want to bring it back to the core philosophy of the FOCO model: ongoing peace of mind. Even as your business scales and revenues hit those high Plan B numbers, your role remains protected. If admissions just absolutely explode, your primary job is simply to expand the physical space. Meanwhile, the brand continues to handle the heavy administrative burdens. They're managing university issues, handling tedious affiliation renewals, maintaining all legal compliance. You scale the real estate, they scale the business operations. It's a perfect synergy. So we have to ask the ultimate question: are you ready to provide the space and let the brand do the heavy lifting? If you're an investor looking for a structured, brand-managed entry into the extremely lucrative education sector, NIMTT's FOCO model presents a highly compelling, risk-mitigated case. You can actually reach out to them directly at 9477949494 or just email them at headoffice@nimttt.co.in to explore becoming a joint partner. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, here's to finding your next great hands-off venture.